Welcome back. You're still tuned in to News and Views with myself, Salailo Makwidi. The time is 8:48, and we're going to be switching gears now to a very, very sore point. Across Johannesburg suburbs, residents have reached a boiling point over what has been described as an unacceptable water crisis. Many communities from Melville and Westdene to Midrand and Lodium, civic groups have come together and they're warning that the city's water systems have not been working. They're fragile, they're poorly maintained, and this has prompted protests across much of the city of Johannesburg's suburbs. Some of these suburbs have endured more than 2 weeks of dry tabs. This is even though authorities are urging conservation. They're saying, well, you take care, save the water that we can barely give you. The onus is on you and not on us at this current moment. And I can tell you right now, at the office for the past couple of days, we haven't had water. So no one is exempt anymore. It is affecting anyone, and communities are now turning to sustained protest action, demanding not just temporary fixes, but accountability, infrastructure repair, and reliable supply. And today we'll be speaking with Lizz Meiring. She's a resident of Melville, where people have been without water for more than 3 weeks now. Liz is joining us via our virtual platform to share her lived experiences and to give us a bit more insight on these protests and what they're looking to achieve. Liz, good morning. Thank you so much for
Good
joining us. Welcome
morning
to
to
Salam
you
Media.
and everybody at Salam Media. Yes, we're all in the same boat here. I want to apologize for the background noise. That is my water pump
No worries.
from my water tank, which I had to get 2 years ago, scrimped and saved. But I'm one of the privileged ones. What about the ones who have not been able to scrimp and save and get it? So here are a couple of points that I think we are not listening to and adhering to. Firstly, our dams are at full capacity. So there is no shortage of water. That is nonsense. We haven't suddenly doubled or tripled in size in Joburg and the greater metro of Johannesburg. Thirdly, the excuse of the aging infrastructure has now been used for many years. Remember, we don't just have a water shortage at this time, and as I'm sure many other residents of many other suburbs will attest to, it happens not only annually but almost bi-monthly. So what is going on? They keep telling us they've switched off the water to fix the old infrastructure. They've been warned about that for 30 years. Yesterday, one of the residents of Greenside in Johannesburg managed to contact the offices of the MEC of Gauteng. And we have that voice note where he says that they are not aware of any water crisis in Johannesburg. Jaw dropping. Also, Rand Water yesterday said that they will be throttling the water for Joburg Water. Why, if our dams are at full capacity? Did Joburg Water perhaps not pay their bill? Is nobody telling us? We are very concerned about the water tankers that are in areas. Firstly, it's not adequate. Secondly, Joburg Water's some of the staff members are on a go slow. And thirdly, these are outside contractors. Whilst I don't begrudge anybody to earn an honest living, how do we know that there's not some form of money passing hands under the table in terms of these contractors? And how do we know that they are not sabotaging or allowed to sabotage?
And it wouldn't be something new. We've seen this happen in other areas of Gauteng, Hammanskraal, for instance. So it's a plausible scenario that you're putting on the table.
It is so sad that South Africans have turned so selfish that they only care about their own pockets and not the welfare of anybody else. And then a very important point is that in our Charter of Human Rights, I think it's Article 4, I might be wrong. You guys can look it up, I just haven't had time. It says access to clean water is a human right for every resident of every citizen of South Africa. So not only are the ones in charge being incompetent and most possibly corrupt, but they are contravening our basic Human Rights Act. Now, I was told 3 years ago by the press liaison of OTA, as you know, you're familiar with the organization, that they've had 3 class action suits against the authorities because of the water supply, and they won all 3 of them, and nothing has come of it. Now, remember, this is an organization that is self-funded, so it's very hard for them to afford all these class action suits. And the courts can delay it, and the respondents can delay it. So we have to protest, obviously in a civilized manner, um, and in a peaceful manner. But we have to learn from other countries who do this, because this is a democracy. And in a democracy, the government and the authorities work for the people. We don't work for them, we pay them. Also, you will note, everybody will note, on their municipal bills, you are still being charged for water supply. Now, where on earth have you seen that you pay for a service that you don't get and that you haven't gotten for many years? And let me tell you that the amount of electricity that is used by using a water pump is enormous, and they announced next week that electricity in Johannesburg will go up with 7%. It is a completely untenable situation. And this morning, when I was at the protest, there were this is not a political issue. This is a human issue. We all agree on that. But what I found notable was there were only 2 political parties present in their capacity as councillors. Where are the people who are now running Joburg? They weren't there. Not even a representative. So what does that tell us? They really don't care. And remember, wherever they are in their offices or their residence, they always have water. So I think it's time that we all pitch up at these buildings and their residences with our bath towels and our dirty dishes and our washing. Can you imagine how funny that would be?
That
And
would
say,
be a sight. That would be a
would that
sight.
be a sight for sore eyes?
um,
Even the international media will be
it would.
and say,
It would.
we need to use your water facilities now.
Liz, I just want you to put things into perspective, especially for Melville, where you're
Yes.
situated, where you live. Traditionally, you don't see suburbs like Melville, like Westdene protest. It just doesn't happen there.
You
How
know,
bad do things have to get for us to see such protest action? And how much did it take for you guys to organize as a community and go out on the streets, something that is not so typical?
no, it is not so typical. And let's just be very honest. Um, my black friends and colleagues say, you whiteys are lazy. You don't get out and protest. You love moaning. And this morning, there's a lot of humor in South Africa, and I love that about South Africans, is that we are comfortable enough to joke around with each other. And some of the whiteys who were there said, please, can't we just burn one tire? And our black neighbors and colleagues said, listen, we have to teach you how to do it first. You have to start slow. But okay, besides that, it does take a lot of time. And remember, many of the residents of Melville are not, it's not simply the residents. We host a large university, UJ, and a number of other tertiary colleges. We have Hope, Hotel Hope, where abandoned babies are looked after. We have hospitals. We have many residents who are self employed. So for them to be there means that they are not able to earn a living. Uh, so this shows you how much they really care and how urgent this situation is. But it is a good lesson to all South Africans that we do need to protest in an effective and civilized way. And we must remember with the next municipal elections, no matter where we are, which councillor, irrespective of political party, would be the most effective. But at present, our councillors in Melville, Richmond, Westdene, Auckland Park, and the greater environ were told by Joburg Water they're not allowed to come to them with water problems. They're not allowed to escalate it at all.
Mm.
They are not invited to the meetings. They find out by chance that there are meetings with Joburg Water and Rand Water, and then they literally have to gate crash to be there. This is not acceptable, and we cannot but be suspicious of what is going on.
And I think that's very, very important to note. Let's talk about the protest action earlier this morning. Was there any official from Joburg Water, from Rand Water, that
Nobody,
was there to receive your demands? Did you feel
not
it has made an impact?
not to my knowledge, there was nobody there. A memorandum has been drawn up and will be presented to them. But to my knowledge, and I was there for a long time, I did 6 media interviews there with different news outlets. So I was there for about 2.5 hours. To my knowledge, there was not a single person from Rand Water or Joburg Water or the city council there, to my knowledge. So what does that tell you? They don't care. They are hiding. They would rather not face up to their actual customers, the residents. And as I said, and I reiterate that, it is not just Melville. You know that, you've said that in your intro. How can our MEC of Gauteng say that he is not aware of any water problems in Joburg? How is that possible? That is plain, pure gaslighting.
No, most definitely. Where to from here now, Liz? Are there any plans for more protest from the community? Are you guys still planning to organize and try and press the authorities to essentially do their jobs? As
Well,
you mentioned, they're here to serve us.
we have this. We have several options as Joburg residents. All Joburg class action suit, which we will have to collect money for because it's expensive, as explained. The memorandum will be handed to them. We can withhold pro rata our water payments on our municipal bills, and if we all do it, there's nothing they can do. I mean, what are they going to do? Arrest everybody? Hold everybody accountable? So at the end of the day, we've got to be proactive in turning all of these protests, not just in the show. And there were many people from all walks of life, all the different cultures. I mean, there were even people with their pets there. And the motorists who drove past, were very supportive. But we have got to stop this lackadaisical attitude, and we've got to vote them out of power, insist on new governance in terms of water, that the people who are now in charge are let go, and that we get the correct people there, and we have to insist on accountability. And our biggest thing is consistency. This cannot be a one-day thing. This has to continue. And everybody's just trying to live their lives. They're just trying to earn a living. They're just trying to be who they're supposed. This creates an enormous amount of stress, and it takes an enormous amount of energy from people to do this. But now we have to toughen up, and we have to keep at it till this is addressed. And I wonder, speaking of things being addressed, if our president will address this at all in his State of the Nation speech. Because I'm getting reports from people in KZN, from the Free State, from the Northern Cape, from different parts of our country. This is not just a Gauteng issue.
It's
And we have
definitely
to think
happening all
further.
across South Africa.
Yes, and we have to think further. We have to think what this does to property values, for instance. There are schools closing at the moment, literally in Joburg, because they have no water. They can't ask the kids to bring water to school. Their parents also don't have water. What about the poorer areas, the rural areas? What about those people who are even more affected than us in the supposed suburbs?
No, most
Basic
definitely.
human right. It is a basic human right.
No, most definitely, Liz Meiring. Thank you so much for chatting to us.
Thank you so much for, and my best wishes. May you have water and salam
may,
media.
may we all have water. May we all have water. And it was
May you all
interesting.
accept each other's BO. Have a beautiful day.
Have
Thank
a beautiful
you.
day too, Liz. Thank you so much. And it's
Thanks.
interesting seeing you transition from television to community activist. Eh? How many lives we
My
get to live in
friend,
one?
I don't know why they asked me. Maybe because I've got a big mouth. That's
May-
I would I would much rather have the councillors speak because they have the inside knowledge, but they're telling me they don't want the councillors to speak because they don't want it to be politicized. This is not a political issue.
It's a human rights issue, as you mentioned. Thank you
Human
so much,
rights.
Liz Meiring. Really
Thank you.
appreciate you giving the time.
Beautiful day. Thank you. Bye bye.
Right, there you have it. That was Liz Meiring, the Melville resident, and I think yeah, she's completely honest. Eh? It's no longer constrained into what you consider poorer areas of South Africa, of Gauteng, of Johannesburg. It is encroached. It is encroached to the suburbs, and I think it'll be interesting to see if people react, if people stand up, and you know start demanding more from the government because traditionally the middle class always felt like it was insulated from some of these service delivery woes. But everyone is affected by it. Doesn't matter whether you're in Alexander, you're in Tembisa, you're in Soweto, you're in Melville, you're in Houghton, you're in Johannesburg, or you're in central Johannesburg. Everyone is affected by service delivery, and water being the core of it all is very, very important. I just got just a correction there on the constitutional provision. It's actually section 27 1B, which states that everyone has the right to have access to sufficient food and water. So it's your constitutional right. It's your right to protest. And I want to hear from you. You can engage with us. You can give us a call. Our studio line is 0116800355 on WhatsApp 0617660355. What is your community doing to show your dissatisfaction from the municipality, from government with water access? It is affecting everyone across Johannesburg. It looks like it is at its worst. People are running around with buckets, people are running around with empty water cans, and there are water tankers driving up and down, and whether or not they could also be the problem, because we've seen in other parts of the province where it was reported that some of the owners of the water tankers are purposefully sabotaging the water infrastructure so that they get the water provision tank tenders to provide people with water. So I think it's so multifaceted. It's not just a infrastructure issue. It's not just a governance issue. There's also a lot of corruption. So a lot needs to be nipped at the bud to make sure that Johannesburg, man, world class African city, no water coming out of its taps. It's embarrassing in 2026. How's your community reacting to this? How have you tried and maneuvered your life to suit this new crazy reality of not having water? 0116800355 on WhatsApp. You can send us a voice note or a text on 0617660355. Going to take a quick break. News and views continues after this.